Well, he was liked among all of us out here on the streets, and especially in this neighborhood.
Tonight at 11, gone too soon. Neighbors remember a man tragically killed and beaten in Salem. Plus, a new trail for visitors. Silver Falls expands just in time for late summer visitors. And later, are you ready to pump your own gas in Oregon? We check in with drivers before the big change. Tonight, friends and advocates remember a 64-year-old man beaten to death in Salem. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Laurel Porter. The victim, Russell Mikolas, was homeless and had been living on the streets off and on for about 20 years. Alma McCarty attended the service and spoke with those who called him a kind, gentle soul.
At a small park in Salem, friends of Russell Mikolas came from all over to say their goodbyes.
Well, he was liked among all of us out here on the streets, and especially in this neighborhood that knew him well, and we all liked him. He was a friendly guy.
Friendly, generous, and gentle.
Just a good guy. He had a good smile. And he liked to joke. He didn't miss over at all. Nobody does. Not like that. Not like that at all.
Police say on June 29th, around 4:30 in the afternoon, witnesses reported a teenager physically punching and kicking a person walking down the street. Russell, the 64-year-old victim of this brutal assault, was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. He died a little more than 2 weeks later, on July 17th.
It was senseless. There was no reason for it to happen.
It saddens me that the work is still there to do. To love well, to demonstrate that human life matters.
He was so gentle, but he was also so broken.
Jolene Garland, a friend and advocate, gave a eulogy for the man who spent decades living outside.
Russell had so many friends and even more acquaintances. He was a man that minded his own business and tried to look after himself the best he could.
He'd call me sometimes to meet him and he'd say, "Can you bring some 20s and 50s?" And then we'd drive around and he'd just hand out money to people that needed it, because those people helped him.
Those gathered Friday afternoon vowed not to forget their friend.
Humans aren't disposable. And one day, hopefully, the day will come where we stop throwing people away.
As for the suspect, the Marion County Juvenile Director tells me the 17-year-old faces a murder in the second-degree charge and remains in custody. Officials confirmed the teen could be tried as an adult. In Salem, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
Now to an update on that deputy shot and wounded in Tualatin earlier this week. Today we learn he's a civil deputy, Charles Doze. He's a 10-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Office. According to a GoFundMe page, Doze was shot in the face, in the arms, and the chest. He's still considered in serious condition, but is now stable in the hospital. The Sheriff's Office says they were able to speak with him, and he said he's working hard to recover. Civil deputies like Doze are charged with serving legal orders. In this case, he was serving an eviction notice when the tenant of the apartment, Christopher Greaves, started shooting. It happened Wednesday morning at the Forest Rim Apartments in Tualatin. About 2 hours after Deputy Doze was shot, Greaves was found dead inside his apartment. We know officers on the scene shot back at him, but it's not clear yet if one of their bullets killed him or if he shot himself. We also have an update in the tragic case of 13-year-old Milana Lee, who was killed in Beaverton last year. The suspect, Daniel Ryan Gore, is now 17 years old. He's charged with first-degree murder, and the court has been deciding whether he should be tried as a juvenile or as an adult. Evan Watson has the latest.
A judge has decided that Daniel Ryan Gore, the teenager accused of killing 13-year-old Milana Lee last year, should be tried as an adult. That means if convicted, Gore would face up to 30 years in prison instead of 8 more years in juvenile custody. Milana Lee's death rattled the Beaverton community. Just 13 years old and a 6th grader at Conestoga Middle School. Investigators found her strangled to death and hidden in a creek in May of last year. There was evidence she was sexually abused. Lee's grandmother, in tears after the ruling, said the family wanted Daniel Gore to be tried as an adult.
I'm pretty sure they are emotional too, and they're all crying. I'm pretty sure. So I think it's right decision. What I can say. That's all.
Gore is accused of rape and murder. He was 16 at the time. If convicted, Gore will now face a longer sentence. He would have been released at 25 if convicted as a juvenile. The judge said Gore was sufficiently mature to understand his actions, and keeping Gore in the juvenile system is not in the best interest of Gore and society.
My granddaughter is gone. She's not in this anymore here. So I don't want he make hurt to other people.
Since Oregon passed juvenile justice reforms in 2019, it's been very rare for a judge to rule that 15 to 17-year-olds charged with serious crimes should be tried as adults. That's only happened a handful of times, according to Justice Department data. Now, Gore's case becomes one of the exceptions. He'll soon be indicted in circuit court.
If he can plan, so he can know what he's doing, so of course he has to go to adult, as charged as adult.
In Washington County, Evan Watson, KGW News.
New tonight, it was all about learning to heal from domestic violence during an event in Northwest Portland tonight. Survivors and allies came out to Northwest 13th Avenue Plaza to bring awareness to the issue. Nonprofits were there to provide resources into how to get help if you're going through a domestic violence situation. Survivors also shared their stories to show others that they are not alone in this journey to healing from abuse.
I'm a mother of 4 now, and I try to unpack all of the generations of trauma. But this is mine alone because I'm the only woman in my entire family to serve my country. And I think it's my soul's fire that has gifted me the chance to speak up for my friends.
The event was made possible by survivor-led nonprofit Findability, which helps to financially empower survivors of domestic abuse. For more information, head to findabilityus.org. Let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. We now know the name of the woman shot and killed in the Powellhurst Gilbert neighborhood this week. She's been identified as 41-year-old Laura Guerrero Rafaela. Portland police say about 5:30 Wednesday night on Southeast 111th Avenue, they tried to perform first aid on her before EMS arrived, but she died at the scene. So far, no one's been arrested. 2 bodies were also found in 2 separate cases in Oregon. The first body was found along the Sandy River. Multnomah County Sheriff's deputies got a call a little after 12:30 this afternoon about a decomposed body there. And in a separate case, the Clackamas Sheriff's Office says that body was found floating in the Willamette River at about 6:45 tonight. This was near the Oregon City Arch Bridge. There is no indication these cases are related. Neighbors are now suing over the Kmart fire in Northeast Portland. A neighbor filed a class action lawsuit against the owners of the building and Prologis, which was leasing it. The lawsuit claims they failed to keep the property in good condition and says neighbors experienced harm when debris from the abandoned store fell on their homes and yards. Court documents also lay out previous complaints made to the city about trash and homeless activity on the site. Switching gears to one of the state's many tourist attractions, Silver Falls. Oregon Parks and Recreation says they have expanded the trail to get hikers a different view of the park. And today we got a look at the new North Rim Trail, a half-mile trail connection that overlooks the North Falls, a perspective that park rangers say is worth the hike.
We're trying to spread out the usage around the park a little bit and create new experiences for people here on the north end of the park. I just encourage people to come out, especially if you can come on a weekday. We always encourage people to visit on weekdays. It'll be a little less busy here.
Now the falls get more than 1.5 million people each year visiting. So to prepare for more visitors coming in, park rangers say they've added a dozen picnic tables and 59 new parking spots.